right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
I've created a new dual disc that will completely change how we play the game. Go, Neo Summon. I'm gonna take you down, get my compass back. Destroy your master! My turn. First, I'll normal summon Murloc, magical swordsman, in attack mode. Then I'll set one card face down. Now go, Murloc the magical swordsman. Attack and destroy his commander. You'll pay for that. You destroyed my space patrol commander, but he'll be back. My draw. I'll activate Monster Reborn in my spell and trap zone. This will let me special summon back my Space Patrol commander. When you activate Monster Reborn, I'll activate my face down card, called by the grave. This will banish your monster and prevent you from being able to revive it. What? Called by the grave? I guess I'll just set one.
Gonna do a little audio test here and interrupt the video for just a moment. Double checking to make sure all our sound sounds good. Mic check 1, 2. 30 seconds on the clock. We'll see you in 30.
Attack! Ha!
Activate face
One
down
my
card.
face down monster. Its effect activates. Go, man-eater bug. Slice him up. Oh no, a man-eater bug. You may have destroyed my magical swordsman, but that's not going to make me give up. Finally, I'll set one card face down and end my turn. Finally, you weakling, it's my draw. I activate the Autonomous Action Unit.
Activate
Let me pay
spell.
1,500life.
Sorry, I do this every time. I just realized I didn't click the mic button. So I was just saying, good morning, everybody. We're going to be watching some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff with you. I just noticed that the mic is muted. I do this pretty much every time I start up. So it's always my 10 a.m.s too, because I'm just woke up. But anywho, so I've got some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff pulled up. We own all of the stuff on these channels that's about to be watched. And basically, we're not going to monetize any of this because I know for certain that we use some music and stuff that we probably couldn't use. But YouTube still decided to not take it down, so we're going to watch it. And like I said, if you're in for a good time, a cringe morning, and you're just here to have a good laugh, we're going to watch all our old Yu-Gi-Oh content and, you know, kind of compare it to what we do now. And, you know, you can kind of get some context on when the stuff was made and how we were making it and, you know, where these ideas came from for the, possibly even the upcoming show. So, like, you can kind of see I've been doing this probably for the last 20 years or so of trying to figure out how to bring Yu-Gi-Oh to life in one way or another. So, let's get right into it, guys. Actually, real quick, I'm so sorry. One last thing I wanted to mention before we hop into that, because I've muted myself earlier. That's just that upcoming streams will be at 10 a.m. every day, Wednesday through Saturday, as much as I can get away with it. And we will be just discussing, like, what are the best, worst Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Disc designs. I'll be making my own Neo Duel digital game so that you guys can finally play this format. We'll be talking about the funniest videos on YouTube. And again, stuff like this, we will be crediting all of the creators with, like, a playlist. And I will not be monetizing videos like this one here or that one there, because specifically there are other creators and stuff, and it's just commentation. We're just here to have a good time. Really, I'll be honest, I just want you guys to stick around because I need the watch time hours, like, real bad. So if we do that, we can get the Neo Duel channel monetized, and then eventually, because I've met all the other requirements essentially, so we're just streaming a bunch for the next month and a half so that we can get our channel monetized, and hopefully by the time we make Duo Duel's movie, then, because we're on Neo Duel, which will be released this summer, but by the time we make Duo Duel's movie, we'll actually be able to make a little bit of advertisement money on it and be able to keep going and making more stuff for you guys. But with all that stuff out of the way, all the jibber jabber gone, let's get right into some funny Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. And don't worry, I will remember to unmute my desktop so that you guys can actually hear it, but I will need your opinions on how loud it is in the audience, because I can't tell. I only have this little bar that bounces that lets me know what color it is. So, unfortunately, that's as far as we got. So what we're about to watch is called Yu-Gi-Oh! Heroes Revolution, I think. It was made on about 12 years ago, and this was whenever I was in maybe like high school. Me and a group of friends just wanted to see if we could make some funny, kind of cool Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. I think the premise here was to cut out the cards and Photoshop and kind of pull them into the real world, if you will. So I'm going to give myself a little audio test as we start this up to try to gauge it. So, you know, just in case it's too loud or not loud enough, just letting you know, be prepared. Definitely too loud for me. There we go. Bring it up a little bit. At least it's an opening song. We can test it with it. It's very loud. Let me see. As it's playing this opening song, you'll hear some pitching. Looks like it's good. So let me know if you need it loud. Oh, awesome. Hey, Alan TCG. Hey, man, it's good to have you in the stream. Let me know if this audio is too low for you or anything like that, or it's too loud. Some of the videos will be a bit mixed.
Man, I wish I had a deck like that.
You worry way too much. If you just believe in your deck, you can be just as good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. You're always putting faith in me.
So, that dude, this guy right here, his name is John. He was a good friend of mine for a good long time in high school and stuff, and basically every time we did video projects, he was probably always in one of them.
Dork, I challenge you to a duel, and after I beat you, everyone will know who Jace Cooper is.
I don't think there was any
You look.
idea to have a sequel in this either. There was just this one project, so we weren't even really looking to make anything extra.
And that reason so you can hand that title over to me.
Yeah, right. And what even makes you think I'll even duel you?
Because if you don't, your friend's toast.
I can't remember if we were gonna make it like a three-parter or what, but there was always like this little idea here to have a group of guys to like color scheme the characters and everything. This was 12 years ago too, so this is like pre-XYZ Monsters, everything.
Hey, no problem.
When I think
Go
about it, it's
show
kind of
these
crazy.
guys why they shouldn't mess with us.
And if you're wondering why is Homeboy wearing a lock, what's up with like the scarf, the whole shebang, it's like these characters had to look like Yu-Gi-Oh characters, so that was like the whole thing, and everything had to be Yu-Gi-Oh. So they have to like exaggerate their movements, yell things that don't need to be yelled. I don't think we used any microphones when we made this. It was literally just like this little shitty tube camera and like and
There
Photoshop.
must be another reason they call
I
you the
think.
Grand Champ. Because it's not for having an impressive first move.
This was probably like
My
my
turn.
first year of Votech.
First, I'll activate
Which was like a
Okazi.
video program I got into.
That was a cheap shot.
All's fair in war.
But I gotta
Next
say,
I'll
like at
place
the
one
time,
card
there
face
were not a
down.
lot of people doing this specifically,
Now
where
summon
we
Great
were
Angus.
taking like a big wide
Great
and then
Angus
using
attack is
both
face down.
mediums. There were only, I think there was only one other like big YouTuber kind of show at the time. It's the Orichalco series. He said, I'm gonna read off some comments as we go here. Because we got a little bit of a delay, so if your comment doesn't come in right away, don't worry about it. I'll get to you.
Pre-K division.
So the audio is good now? Cool,
Now
thank
you're
you.
in for it. I summon my Gaia's Soul, the Combustible Collective.
What the hell is that thing?
I use this effect to tribute Great Angus. That gives him a grand total of 3,000. For Combustibles Collective, burn that oak.
What's the property? Oh, are you talking about the property damage from the Millennium Paradox when we had the dude slam his head into the wall? Because that was kind of awesome. It was really funny. Monty was the dude in the suit. So the dude that plays Franz was the stuntman that played the lieutenant that had to like put on the helmet and get his head smashed into the wall. Yeah, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, man, I do appreciate that though. We just, I guess I just am into Yu-Gi-Oh for life. So basically, I'll just be making Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. I've tried to not, and here we are. You know what I'm saying?
First,
So
I'll activate Pot of Greed. That'll allow me to draw 2 cards from my deck. Next, I'll summon Dark Fire Soldier number 1.
he's just playing like a burn deck. So what's funny about the burn deck he's playing here is it's actually the first deck that I played probably seriously as a kid. So when about 25 years ago when you played Yu-Gi-Oh, you could only play like an attribute deck for the most part, and anyway, so unfortunately the attribute decks were not that good. They were just like anyway, sorry, I got caught up watching that for a second. So, the attribute decks would essentially be like fire, water, earth, you know, all that stuff. And I think the one I picked was the fire deck, and it was just from like one of the Yu-Gi-Oh games, like one of the Game Boy games from back in the day. So,
Okay, 500. Normal summon Lava Magic Cannon. Next, I'll summon
oh dude, so the abandoned house kick the door off thing, it was a cool like practical trick. So we had that house next to the house we were filming in, and it was owned by the same dude. The door had already been removed, and so we kind of put it on like almost like some tension on it, so that when dude would kick it, it would just fly, and it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty fun. We knew we needed like a little chasing, because everything we did in Paradox, we were practicing to make something a little better. So we had to like get on the ground and actually make the shots and try them out and stuff. So. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks, man. People didn't actually realize how much work some of this stuff took, because you'd have to go cut out all the monsters, and then we just jacked all the PSP summons, I think, because that was the only game that actually, it was like PS2 and PSP Tag Force games, I think. You could steal the animations out of them and slice them in. Yeah. Just imagine if we remade this 12 years later, but good. You know what I'm saying? So what's crazy is I haven't seen this guy in forever, but I just moved back home, so we might start making movies again.
Thanks, Dirk.
And I remember this being so funny, like if he could have beaten him up, the dude a head taller of him, the whole time and gotten a bat, why did we just duel? He could have just done that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that was the whole thing, man. That was the whole shebang. So I'm going to pause this next one real quick. So just to give you some preface to what this is. First, okay, yeah, I'll answer your comment real quick. But someone that works on fan shows for a while now, I know how much work these take, even the most simple. Dude, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you do any level of trying to do a fan show for Yu-Gi-Oh, I commend you, just for the, not because I do it necessarily, but because, yeah, it takes quite a bit of work. Like, imagine if this was just a show, a normal script, you sit down, you do a dialogue scene or something. There's not nearly as much having to, like, go find images, cut them out, special effects, on any scale, when I'm just doing, like, a drama story. So I kind of find that whenever I went to film school especially, I want to challenge myself. They did not teach special effects at all, so every effect you see that I know how to do is self-taught. So basically, I wanted to push myself to see, like, how can we get as many effect things done as possible. And I'm also, you know, deaf and shit, so, like, visual stuff is kind of my thing. So I wanted to see how can we get these cards to life in what way possible. And we kind of got stuck on this process here for a while to do like cutting out the cards, but that's what led us to eventually doing filming the person in a costume and then putting them on the card in a green screen, and then so I could print that card and someone could play that card, and then we could green screen the person to pop up out of the card. So that's what Neo Duel will be using, is like our real monster CG, no CG, whatever you want to call it. It's like CG to the effect I'm using green screen, but not to the computer graphics per se. Probably Blue Eye Saga is the best. I'll have to check it out. We'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I'll see what that one's about. How new is it? I feel like I've heard of it. We'll have to definitely look at it here in just a bit. Blue Eye Saga. So anyways, this one is called Yu-Gi-Oh! CS. I think it was supposed to be Celestial Swords. The idea was about like 4 or 5 players getting these swords that would seal a card in them or something like that. So you can also see the dual disc weapons thing has been in play for a very long time. I don't remember how long ago this one is. Let's see, 11 years ago. So this one was only 1 year after Yu-Gi-Oh! HR. So also, again, these aren't getting monetized. There's no way in hell, because I use music for stuff I shouldn't. So that's why in Neo Duel we made all the music, or got rights to music for everything. he kind of had like all the same group of guys playing all the same characters. We put him in the same costume but red. It was the same jacket but a red one. Yeah, these are real bad though. I mean, you can see the shots are better, definitely. But yeah, I think this one's premise was my dude was just like he quit tournaments. He was gonna do like underground tournaments. I don't even remember what we were gonna do for like the bad guys or good guys. This one was not barely cooked at all yet. That's why it was like a promo. We literally got to the prologue and then just I think a lot of the people that were gonna film with us just didn't or something. I really don't remember why this one didn't get made. But the shots were better, for sure.
Thanks, man. No problem. Hey, wait. Don't I know you from somewhere?
I don't know, but I know you. You're Alistair Cross, the national champion, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Where you been? Haven't seen you in a while.
I see a while ago.
Yeah, Alan TCG is definitely like a passion project. They all are, because none of these were made with any money. You know what I'm saying? They're all just goofs to see how far we could get at like 19, 17, whatever, however old I was when we made these. So. Yeah, and the dude that's playing Franz in Millennium Paradox, the one you were talking about, he is... Yeah, we met him later on. I met him when I was more of an adult, I guess. But real solid dude, and he's in a lot of our projects later on. You can kind of say this guy right here was in a lot of my early projects, because I hung out with him in high school, and then I hung out with the dude that plays Franz, like, more as an adult, I guess.
Looks like it's time to check on the results of the tournament.
What was the premise here?
You lost? Can't believe this.
Oh, okay, so this was supposed to be like the character was all anti-meta. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is why I stopped doing this. Like, I did my promo, and I didn't like it. So I was like, you know what, I think I want to do a different story.
Maybe I can convince you to enter a tournament again.
Because I think we were just testing out how well will it be to, like, paste the card images over the... Like, you saw him summoning the red eyes on the table and stuff. I think I just didn't like it, so we were like, nah, we're gonna do something else. We did better with everything else in this one, I think, like the character designs and using, like, a dusty old town and, like, that kind of stuff.
Where they're at.
Alright, man, but I gotta get going now.
Meet me here at 6 o'clock. Don't be late.
See ya. Man, another one.
We put dubs on it. I forgot about that, too. We couldn't hear him through the freaking mask, probably, so we were like, we have to dub this. I don't know whether his arm is super powered or broken.
Now all I want is to duel with real people who have real skill, but yet to find it until now.
Okay, so that one didn't even really have any duels in it. I know it was a prologue, but I digress. Alright guys, now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this video. Hey, no, we're not doing any ads. Shut your mouth. Okay, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this video. And it's not Martha Stewart, alright? So, we're going to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Paradox, which is probably my magnum opus so far as like movies go, because we actually got to mostly finish this project, and that's an hour and a half in, so you know, forgive me if you get kind of like cliffhangered at the end, but that's gonna, after we watch Paradox, we'll probably see if you guys have any fan suggestions. If we still have any time, we will be taking kind of like a medium break in the middle somewhere, so that everybody can pause, go to the bathroom, and catch up and all that stuff. So let's open up Millennium Paradox and get into this one. Now guys, this is it's a long video, okay? So this is, it's an hour and 41 minutes long of a movie. with all of the intros and outros cut out. So, you know, if you have any questions, now's a good time. Otherwise, get your popcorn and sit the hell down and let's get into this. You said, you only met Front's character? Yeah. Having a Neo Duel episode without a duel feels weird. Yeah. So that was basically not an episode. That's why we called it a prologue for Yu-Gi-Oh! CS, because it was like, are we gonna make this idea and is it gonna be good, or is it was very 2010s. I don't know if you saw like the timing kind of, so like I don't know, like I think once we did it, we kind of watched it a few times. We were like, well, this is cool, and I'm not proud of it because like the scenes look good, but it's not the Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to make, if that makes any sense. The character we wrote at the time, it was for a very short period, it was super popular to be like all anti-meta and stuff. So I think we made the character like that, and then I was just like, it's kind of cringe though, man. Like, we can do so much cringe when we come to Yu-Gi-Oh! But now I gotta like do it again. You know what I'm saying? And I think we had planned to do another project right after CS, and then we were gonna like follow it through, or I think we were gonna make like 3 little episodes for it or something, like prologue and 3 episodes. But I think ultimately I just decided I wanted to do something else, and by the time we had written something else out, we had a whole different group of guys filming with us. You know how it is in your early 20s, you're figuring out life, trying to get yourself settled in somewhere. So but yeah, so that's why we did that. But yeah, man, it's pretty good so far. We got some pretty good stuff up here. Oh, okay, that's you guys chatting in the comments. You confused the hell out of me for a second. All right, let's get into some Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Paradox. And sound warning: there is only one intro theme on here and only one intro because at the time when I uploaded the movie, we had cut out the 5 episodes. Oh, I guess I should give you guys a little preface. Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Paradox is we did 5 episodes about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. So it's a little older than the other 2 projects by 3 years or so. And we had a different group of guys filming with us. We had a way bigger cast for this one overall. Still a $0 budget, so that means I had to make all the props, characters, write everything, you know, all that good stuff. So, yeah, let's get into it. I think when you have a lot of ideas for shows, Alan TCG, is you just have to kind of like really see which one looks good overall and flesh that one out the most, and then kind of just work on them one at a time, or else you end up getting too many in the pipeline.
Threatened to destroy the entire world until a brave pharaoh sealed the dark magic away. The magic was sealed within the 7 millennium items.
He did so good on this voiceover.
5,000 years later, Shadow Games would determine the fate of the world.
Excuse me. Yeah, YMP was kind of my favorite one. My brother calls me every once in a while, bro, I just watched it again. I was like, alright, cool. And so, fun fact, this had 2 different intros, and the movie ended up getting the Act 2 set, like, intro. And you guys can, like, watch this natively on Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Paradox. It's got its own channel. You gotta admit, man, these card effects were fire. Like, these still look good today to me, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the camera's going, but the card effects, dude. Spent so much time on this shit. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. To all of you guys, thank you. We just made this out of pure joy. I think that's why it's so good, in my opinion. Because it wasn't like bogged down by trying to be nothing. We're just like, let's just make something that only we can make real. And this dude right here, I ain't gonna lie, he brought a lot. This man was born to be an actor or like a stage performer of some kind. And if anyone's curious in the comments, this is Franz. This is the dude that everybody was talking about before. He's a trooper, man. And again, so you can kind of see the stuff we kept is everybody's got to look like Yu-Gi-Oh characters. So for Franz, we had to simple it down a little bit, but also kind of keep him like he's show ready. Everybody has to have like trip pants. You know, like they gotta have like goth shit.
Be late.
And he actually did this logo on the back of his jacket. So what's funny is the jacket he wears in this series was the trench coat I wore in CS, but it got damaged, so he turned it into a vest, and he put that symbol on the back of it. So it's kind of cool. We made him like a Yuya, I think Yuya, Arc 5 kind of character. So we just threw the jacket like over his shoulders instead. Then we did like a little bit of practical effects in here, bugging with the lights, and then just a little bit of overlay. Supposed to have like this little Millennium Spirit thing fucking with him. Is he coming back to Neo Duel? Or is that a solo project? Okay, so
Wait, what?
I'll be honest. Neo Duel is just me playing a mess ton of characters, and then I had one other actor come in and help me play all the monsters. So what I'm trying to do is get Neo Duel completely out. It's got 3 full episodes. It'll be about the same length as this by like 60 minutes-ish. So this is actually much longer. But when we film Duo Duel, I'm really hoping I can convince him to come back and play a character, because I got the perfect character for him to play. So Neo Duel is all about one person, one column, like 1 minute, real fast dueling, and Duo Duel is about tag dueling. So like having a homie with you. But we'll get there. You just gotta stick with me. Subscribe.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we did all of it. We swore in this one. That was kind of cool, though. It's like whole Dultis just morphed. All his cards are gone. Got robbed somehow. And this was all filmed in the ghetto, kids. That's why everything looks horrible. You see, like, there's duct tape on the wall and shit. Because everything was ghetto. Yeah, this was kind of like Arc V. This was literally released right when in season 1, 2 of Arc V was out. It was before it was even finished. So I didn't even know the ending for Arc V. I just really liked the concept of people being able to like tag in to help out their friends. So like you could be dueling and then I could pay a life point penalty and jump into your duel and help you out. That's what Tri-Duel is going to be about. The third arc for Neo Duel. It's going to be about gunslingers and Vash the Stampede style nonsense, but Yu-Gi-Oh! I can't wait to film that one. They're in the pipeline, man. I just gotta get budget and get them going. Yeah, these characters, their timeline is not supposed to be super happy. I think we were like, we had to put it a little in the past because Yu-Gi-Oh's first arc takes place like early 2000s. So we kind of like pushed the timeline back a little bit, but Yu-Gi-Oh also always has technology that doesn't exist in its own timeline. So for example, I think they had like cell phones, but like early 2000s. This was supposed to be like a 2000s. That's why I said like 20XX, not 1990XX, right? I'm gonna turn it up. I love how we use like the actual music, and then a lot of the music was from the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Color game. This is what I meant, dude. He was meant to play a goofy dude. Look at him like wobbling around and shit as he walks. It's so good. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool though, having someone join a fight. Like, it's not fair. You're 100% that it's not necessarily fair. I feel like the life point penalty makes it kind of fair. Because imagine it as a format where anyone can tag in. I might just have cards that would immediately deplete life points or burn cards. So, like, you could tag in, but then I could just activate a trap and burn you for the remaining life point penalty. So if we start with 4,000 life points and you pay 2 to get in and you only got 2 left, if I hit you with, like, Graveyard Bomb or something and it's in play, there's already, like, 20 cards in the graveyard, you immediately lose. So you wouldn't be able to just, like, tag in and bully someone, I think. But you would be able to tag in and, like, interrupt, which is what I think is the biggest kind of thing with that. But I don't know. I think it also makes the player look more skilled if people are able to tag in against them. They can fiend everybody off. I don't know. I think it's a cool concept. I don't think it's for every Yu-Gi-Oh show for sure. Like, I don't think that would be cool for, like, a tournament arc. That's very one-on-one or team-based. But I think for just, like, freestyle, like, people are running around a map, like, if I was going to do a Yu-Gi-Oh MMO or something like that, I think that'd be really cool. Neo Duel is going to have its own kind of vibe. So it's going to take place in kind of like the same timeline as Paradox, almost as if it was a neighbor, but just a little sooner. Neo Duel was filmed in Seattle. It has a lot of amazing, like, imagery and stuff. I think I did much better on it. I had to film it all by myself, so quite a lot. Well, I say by myself, 90% by myself. I had help with a lot of the monster effects with someone else, but I mean, like, you know, I did all the work on setting up the shots, making the characters, doing all the stuff. Like, trust me, it took 2 months to do the first half of Neo Duel by myself, and then 2 months to do the second half, or about 2 months to do the second half. And then once I got back to Oklahoma, we started doing the final editing and stuff on it in, like, March. So
you want to waste more time?
Oh shit.
yeah, Neo Duel is going to take place in its own timeline, where it's just a normal dude named Jet. He just likes figuring out stuff. Like, he's an engineer that solves problems, so he happens to stumble upon the Millennium Puzzle and thinks it's just like a 3D puzzle and solves it by accident, and chaos ensues. So, like, I can't wait. I can't tell you too much about Neo Duel, though. I gotta wait. I gotta wait until you watch the movie, and then we can talk all about it. And I'll probably not shut up, but, like, we gotta wait. You gotta wait a little bit. Canonically, is Neo Duel in the same setting? No, Millennium Paradox. Think of it like it's a timeline movie. So there's like 10 Millennium Paradoxes that we haven't seen, where, like, Atlas has done this like 10 times already. The Millennium Paradox you're watching is like the 11th occurrence of itself, which is really stupid, but it's also exactly how I wrote it. I'm not gonna lie. The idea at the end of this show, and I'm assuming if you're here you've seen it, so, like, you're just sticking around for the fun, but the idea was that the main bad guy is a timeline villain, and the reason he's doing this is it can't win is because by the time he fights the villain, he keeps doing the journey by himself. But this is the one timeline where he meets this goofy ass motherfucker, and he changes everything. So, like, he changes the whole course of this particular timeline, giving Atlas a few friends. This is a Yu-Gi-Oh story after all. So now Atlas has 2 friends to fight the final boss with, and it completely changes the whole outcome of the Millennium Paradox timeline. But unfortunately, you know, that episode 6, that lost episode's up, and you can see it never got to get finished, and it's because the data got corrupted for the final movie, and it was 4 years after the movie had gotten, or the final episode had gotten made or something, or like 3 years. So yeah, it was really sad. But I think we got all the way up to episode 5 for this one. So that's why for Duo Duel, it's only going to be 5 episodes. And then Neo Duel is just 1 big episode. And Tri Duel is going to be 3 episodes. The whole idea behind this was that if you remember in the original show, if you got a Millennium item and it wasn't yours, there was always like a curse or like something wrong. So the curse was like a dude stole all these Millennium items with a book that we never got to put into the show that was supposed to be in the final episode. It's supposed to look like a Millennium book, kind of like a codex, but not the one that made them, but like a new one. And it had the ability to like shrink them down and store them or some shit. And so that's why, because we got actually like all these bronze Millennium items off of the internet at some point, and basically he like shrinks them down, steals them, and then they kind of get scattered and stolen and lost. And so now if someone gets a hold of one, it kind of makes them go nuts. It gives them like an evil Millennium spirit, if you will. Or like just in the Yu-Gi-Oh shows, it's kind of like Merrick. You don't have to have a possession thing going on. You just like you have a little bit of evil in you, and it just like swells up basically. So that's what happened to this dude's character. He was all like pissed off. You can tell he's getting ready for something like a duel or somebody. And then all his cards got disappeared when he got a hold of Millennium Scales, and it made him like corrupted. So now he's like going around using the scales to judge everybody.
Kind of set a dude's cards on fire.
You gotta be kidding. He did what?
No, I'm not kidding.
Wait there, I'm on my way.
Yeah, that's why they're so small. It's just because he like shrunk them down, and it's like those were the good looking props that we could get. So it's like that's what we settled on. Like you could have wrote that anyway. But it's like, why not just make it part of the narrative? And then I started hanging the Millennium Puzzle from Atlas's like chains. And I was like, why not make him not Yugi, right? Like make it to where there's no spirit possessing Atlas. He has full control over the puzzle, and it doesn't hang around his neck. So like, it's a totally different like kind of character. He's more like, I think when I was writing this, you were right. We were watching Arc V, and I think he has like a spark of what's the dude that used the birds, the Raid Raptor, is always fucking yelling. It's like, I summon this! Like, he's so mad all the time. And I think Atlas has like a spark of that character in him where he's just like slightly pissed off all the time.
Not get in the way.
Was it Shun? I think that's Shun. It's Shay Obsidian, dude. Yes. So I'm sorry, guys. I was watching it as it came out, English dub. And I should watch subs because it shouldn't matter to me. But I think just at the time I was watching it as it was airing over here. But yeah. Yeah. It was. I don't know why. Like I was like, oh yeah. He kind of reminds me of Atlas a little bit, a little trench coat, angry guy. Like, just not the bad guy one.
I summon Valkyria Knight and attack. I'll equip Valkyria Knight with Salamander, giving him 700 attack. I'll set one.
Yeah, I think when you're world building, figuring out your limitations is a big deal. Because, like, imagine...
I'll set 4 cards.
I think when you have to ask too many questions when a show's going on, it takes you out of the show. So, like, why are we dueling? Why duel instead of shoot this guy, right? So, like, there's got to be a good narrative to make this stuff happen. So you need to know your limitations, like how the world works, how the characters work, the limitations of the items before you even start writing. Honestly, my suggestion is before you make any show, you have to do a lot of prep work. But because it makes the whole narrative look cleaner. And I think this one we did kind of like with the outline and then episode by episode because we were having to make it month by month. But if you get to sit down and film it all at once, I think you can prep as much as possible. It'll look really good. Yeah, it is Shun. You were right. Yeah. I think it's both. It's Shun and Shay Obsidian, just depending on the sub. What's up, everybody? Deucen Cookie Wolf? That's a cool name, dude.
I'll activate the effect of Artifact Chuck. Whenever an artifact is destroyed on my side of the field, I can special summon him as well.
Yeah, I think this whole thing was like making them different sizes to layer them in and stuff, so that you could actually like give the illusion that they're not just flat.
I'll activate the effect.
Because the trick is if you're only filming like this camera angle, I could stick as many monster layers on top of this as one, but I couldn't put any behind me. So like in Neo Duel, we did a lot of green screen stuff, so I got to like layer the monsters around the characters and stuff and all the effects, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait. Yeah. So like in Duo Duel, dude, you're right. ATX basically that we're gonna explain everything. So basically like. And these, we were more focused on story, like getting the duels forward, and basically a duel is the only way to like purify a Millennium item, because you have to win an item in a game for it to be yours, and then it's purified, so there's no curse, so you can use it fully, right? So if I beat Pegasus in a duel and I say I want your Millennium Eye, I can use the Millennium Eye without any repercussions. It's my Millennium Eye now. So that's what he's doing. So in Duo Duel, though, dude, everybody has like weapons. They've got like the dual disc dagger, dual disc little swords and sickles and all this stuff, right? So it's like the idea is the rare hunters will just stab you and take your shit unless you can duel, because monsters are made of like hard light. So if you can summon a dual monster to protect yourself from getting stabbed, then the other guy has to now have a weapon and a dual disc to be able to do both versions of combat, right? So that makes sense. So it makes sense why like a duelist could just roll up into a town, be good at card games, and then take over the town, right? Like, so like that's kind of the idea. You have to establish rules on why people are going to do this. Don't get me wrong, it's all ridiculous, but that's kind of the joy of doing Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, is you can write ridiculous and it's good.
I'll draw. I'll exceed summon again, but this time I'll be using 3 monsters. I exceed
Yeah.
summon.
Yeah, dude, in Tri-Duel, so using monsters as weapons is cool, but in Tri-Duel, they use hologram bullets for the guns so that they never run out of ammo. So it's basically like, if you're going to make hard light monsters, why not make hard light ammunition that's non-lethal? So in Tri-Duel, everyone's going to use a quick draw phase, so it's like, you quick draw your gun, because then they're going to have all gun dual discs in that one. So in Duo Duel, it's going to be like swords and axes and all the shit you see me making in the short videos. But wait till I get to the guns, dude. Those are going to be like, you quick draw, fire your gun, and whoever in the 3-way duel has the highest attack monster goes first. So dude, just wait for that shit. I can't wait. That's going to be my my Trigun Yu-Gi-Oh crossover. I got everyone I've told about it so far. It's like, bro, let's go. I'm so hype. And trust me, I am too. What's crazy is I have like most of the costumes and stuff for all this ready to go. We just got to get to the groundwork of filming it. But like I said, we're done with Duo Duel. It'll be out here in June, hopefully.
What happened?
Yeah, exactly. It's not realism, it's consistency. If you tell people your magic system works one way, just keep it working that way. Don't break your own rules, and I think you're golden. Everyone can suspend disbelief to a degree of saying, I'm in the story, okay, this is the way the story works. But then when you start breaking your own rules, it's like the story doesn't work the way it's said. It's just like in real life when stuff doesn't work the way it should, you know? It's cognitive dissonance, or whatever the hell that's called.
Since I'm gonna answer a few of your questions, how about you answer a few of my questions? You know, the ones I had while I was on the ground. Being lobotomized.
So this is like the end of
fine.
episode 1,
Thomas, by
technically.
the
That's
way.
why you'll see this weird cut, and then we cut out the intro and outro.
Nice to meet you.
But I love how we got this shot of him going out with his little symbol on his back, so it's like the last thing you see. And then this we filmed with a whole ass different camera. So for episode 2, you'll see the camera quality go down a little bit, but we got more shots and more intense shots for this one. I think this one had way better action overall. Goofy and bad, but better, right? Like than my other one. Card games with guns, exactly, dude. Just remember Axel Brody and how freaking kind of cool his dual disc was to like flip out and shoot stuff, but not be like dumb and shoot like little bits of sparky fire. I just was like, shoot bullets, man. I think the whole dual disc design, Axel Brody's whole character looked cool as hell. But just imagine that, but Trigun, okay? Like, I'm gonna lop off my dude's arm so he can have a mechanical arm. So that, like, because they're gonna think they can't make him duel by lopping off his hand to keep him from dueling. But he's gonna be like, fuck that, I'm gonna get a new arm. Property damage, yeah. So what's funny is this house was already being worked on and stuff. That's why you see all this HVAC shit in here. And it was there for like years and years and years. So the guy that owned this house, we also own. We also didn't break this technically. We just put it there so we could make it look like we broke it. And then this guy was fucking cool. He had like a reverse dual disc on one side and a dual disc, so it was like sharpened because he had been like, he's like a slasher. He was out being a psycho. Dude filed his teeth down for this character, all sorts of stuff. You can see that fun fact about knowing anything about this character. He's from the Synchro era also. So these guys are both from the Synchro timeline. But I don't think we ever said that in the show. Other than like hinting that he's using Synchro monsters. But you can see Atlas pulls out a full-on dagger and is like, bro, I'm not playing. I don't want to get cut. See, that's the thing. He pulled down and broke. We did it. There was no reason to break it. We just wanted to make it look like more damage. Like as we went along. That was it. You like the custom dual discs? They were literally pistols to turn into dual discs. Yeah, that's the tri dual is. I gotta. Here, look. I'm gonna put a little pause on Paradox. Good place to pause it. But here, I'm gonna show you something. So if you go to our channel, right? I'm gonna pull Paradox down for just a moment. And if you look right here. I think a while ago, I gave this away. But this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Tri-Duel. You can see I announced this 4 months ago when I made my final logo reveal. There are 3 cards going 3 different ways. That's because 3 cards are being fired into the little magic circle in the middle. And that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Tri-Duel. So that's the 3rd arc. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! DD is Yu-Gi-Oh! Duo Duel. You can see it's more of a fantasy, magical thing. That's because this is going to be takes place in a fantasy realm, world style kind of arc. That's why everyone has weapon dual discs, and everyone's like a knight or something of that nature, right? So, Yu-Gi-Oh! Tri-Duel is the 3rd arc, so we will be filming this hopefully in the fall or sometime soon, and then we'll be filming this probably next year or late this year. So, just as a little aside, you know what I'm saying? Stuff's in the pipeline, it's ready to go. But yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tri-Duel is the one where we're gonna use the guns. It's gonna be Trigun. You can see it's like a Trigun style logo, and that's where everyone's gonna fire their gun dual discs and stuff. So, in Yu-Gi-Oh! DD, it's a literal duel, like a sword duel, and then a duel, and then in Tri-Duel they fire their guns. So, probably way overthought Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff to make it make sense, but you know, I want people to enjoy the story.
I mean,
oh yeah, dude, I'm so looking forward to it.
What?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And then, fun fact about him. So he's wearing like a propane tank looking shirt, and we did that on purpose. Because we were like, Franz is already decked out in all this red to make him pop out against like the green and the gray, and to kind of like give him that main character vibe. But Thomas was the one using ignites and like fire cards and stuff, and so I was like, man, we got to make you look like you're a chill, but you might explode. So we found this King of the Hill looking propane shirt that he wore around sometimes. It's like, you got to wear that thing, dude. And yeah, it gives him like a calm vibe, but there's a little red in there. Yeah, 4Kids' worst nightmare, actual guns in Yu-Gi-Oh! No kidding. Dude, what's funny is you mentioned that, and I was like, I'm about to make a video that's going to be all the good things 4Kids did to the show. It's a minor example, like Shadow Realm or something. But, like, I can't wait to do that one. That one's going to be fun.
But almost a couple of times.
Nah, Thomas doesn't use Blue Eyes. Nah, Thomas used, he was using those fire monsters, and then he went up to Ignites in the first episode with pendulum monsters. So in this timeline, there are no pins. Like this timeline, there's no pendulum monsters. There's only fusion, and it's new. So if you remember DM, some people had polymerization, but like, remember even when Joey used polymerization, he had to steal it from someone's graveyard? It was not a common thing to do. So, like, tribute summoning was the way you got a big monster out. God cards were the thing. This is probably, like, post-Battle City, post-DM by a month. You know what I'm saying? Not meant to be very far. Like, maybe like a year to a month after Duel Monsters ended. That would be the timeline, I guess. You could say this is supposed to be in. So pre-GX even, or like if it was GX, it'd be like the first year of school, you know. But yeah, so like, cause you see other characters come in later, like Dox. He's from the future timeline, but he's a fusion summoner, which is supposed to hint that they don't have all these summoning methods. You see, just open the book, it's all normal monsters, no effects. Like all of the stuff we did was intentional to have like hints. Oh, that's yeah, bro. I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I'm not a internet slang person, and I'm on a stream, so I gotta learn. But yeah, okay, all right. Are you referencing the other show that does the Blue Eyes? Because I think there's another character from one of these other spin-off like fan-made shows that uses Blue Eyes. This scene, we were somewhere we weren't supposed to be. This was somebody's private lot, and I think we snuck onto it to film this. I think. And I'm pretty sure that's also why it's so overgrown. We were like, man, we don't want a bunch of cars and stuff in the scene. We want to make it look like he went into the woods, even though he never went into the woods.
That's over with. We can talk.
Impossible Studios? Yeah, I think I've heard of them.
I'm gonna put this up real quick. Yeah. Grab a seat right over there. Alright. Let me ask you a few questions first. Of course. Anything you like.
We just built this whole, like, impromptu shop in the living room. The big Yu-Gi-Oh mural on the wall is real, though. I painted that just for the house, because we were allowed to paint on the wall at the house. So I was like, cool, I'm gonna put a giant Yu-Gi-Oh mural on the wall. The one that had like red eyes and some skull. I think that's how it started. As I knew I wanted to put a big red eyes on the wall, and I was like, well, fuck it, why not just go the whole shebang and put a few of my favorite monsters up there.
Time to settle this.
And so this guy is also Franz. He played both characters, but he's phenomenal, dude, to me. Cracks me up every time. And I don't know if you... So we knew we couldn't go super far into special effects either, so we were like, we gotta keep this 90s looking, like, Power Rangers special effects, because there's no way we're gonna be able to, like, set a certain standard and keep it consistent. Because imagine we had like amazing special effects in the first episode because I dropped like a budget on it, and then by episode 5 there was no budget, so we'd have to like revert. So it was just like, nah, it's gotta stay consistent. We're gonna make it look like 90s. The only thing that we couldn't be consistent with it, I think, was because I was borrowing cameras to make the episodes, because it was over like a series of like 4 or 5 months or something like that. So I think for episode 2, this is the only one where we had to borrow a bad camera. But by episode 5, we got to borrow a really nice camera. So, like, you know what I'm saying? It's a little trade-off. So, we knew we couldn't be consistent everywhere. So, at least for the effects and the monsters and stuff, I knew we needed that. Definitely.
I can pay 600 life points, and all psychic type monsters I control gain 500 attack.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, that's the whole thing, man. You can't make it look like a living room, or else it won't feel like a shop.
And now, power injector, attack! When you attack me, I'll activate mystical space time.
Yeah, it's pretty much 99% of the time when you're making one of these fan-made shows, it's a group of friends. So it's like 3 guys, or like not literally, but like 3 people. You know, for this one, I think I made it with just the 3 people. So like every time one of us had to play a villain, that's why Nick had to flip and be, or Thomas had to flip and be a villain for the episode 1, and then we had to put people in like costumes for all the other ones. But in Duel, like I figured just cover up everyone's mouth and then dub the lines so you can use the actor over and over and over as many times as possible. But that's how we got so many different monster effects, since I made a ton of monsters, like, using the green screen effect. So now the monsters, like, move, they breathe, they look at you when you talk to them, like, that kind of stuff. So, like, the dual monsters are monsters, and they match the resolution of the cameras and the people that I'm filming with. So like Neo Duel's just overall gonna look much better. And then for Duo Duel, I actually have help to make that one because we have the studio and stuff back. So like basically Duo Duel's just gonna look amazing. I think it's gonna look so good, especially if I have a budget to make it.
So, my first question is...
Yeah, there is always kind of someone missing. So sometimes
I'm not sure. Maybe...
sometimes you'll be filming and someone might like not be able to show up that day, so you have to improvise and be like, all right, new costume, new character, whatever. So a lot of these, if you do them month by month, you kind of have to do a outline for your story and keep it kind of like making sense, but leave it loose enough for actors to be able to like kind of switch places or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like
that guy from earlier. Oh, wait, that's right.
Oh yeah, kicked your ass too. Set you up from the very beginning. Caught most of that from an interesting point of view.
yeah, exactly. That's what we. So for the VAs, so I did a character where I played the body, and then my brother played the voice for Neo Duel for one of the bad guys, I think. So yeah, you can definitely do that. You just have to cover up everyone's mouth. Give them smooth masks that don't show mouth movement. So if you're gonna cover up the mouth, don't do like a Spider-Man where I can see my mouth moving. You know, like don't do like a thin layer. Do something hard.
Why do you think it took so long for me to catch up?
Oh, fun thing too, guys. I got like a Konami thing I'm about to release for this channel. We'll talk about it at the end of the video. I got so much shit going on. These were neat. Yeah, another trick to doing that is you have to make them the same size as the card and then make them pop out and be bigger. And then you also have to skew them on a different axis so that they look like they're facing the opponent. Yeah. And I think with this one we start practicing doing the forward shots for like the special summons. So you'll see it evolves just a little bit. But when you watch the first thing we started with today, you're like, alright, I'm not bad. Like, this ain't so bad in comparison to like Yu-Gi-Oh! HR CS. Not at all.
Psychic Nightmare gains 1,000 attack points. And now, Psychic Nightmare, attack Durandal. And now I end my turn.
Remember anything from before you were possessed?
Yeah, I was sitting at my desk, making one of the best decks I have ever made. God, it's fucking great. And all of a sudden, my cards and my duel discs, they just disappeared.
He's like the opposite dude.
No way.
No, he's so chill.
I have to think of something else, but at least I can set 3 cards face down before I end my turn.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Yeah, I think we were just practicing like how the pacing to do like flashbacks, like back and forth storytelling.
Any duel disc I've ever seen, and this deck is much more advanced than anything I could have ever built.
Yeah, he's basically alluding to the fact that he couldn't have just designed his own cards and made pendulums exist. They had to come from somewhere else.
Neither have I. And besides, I think it's the item that taught me how to use it instantly.
Wait, so you're the only person in the world that can pendulum summon?
Huh. Yeah, I guess I am. I haven't thought about it like that.
I normal summon reinforced human psychic Borg. I activate soul absorption. I activate the effect of reinforced human psychic Borg. He allows me to banish one psychic type monster from my graveyard and give him 500 attack. Due to soul absorption's effect,
Yeah, I had to go make whole other animations for him.
500 to be precise.
Just to make them look like they move a little bit. I think we had to make them a whole other arm and cut it out and turn it into that. And then do it again. Oh, shit. It's the little things I think that make these look good overall. Like he just swung his bat. Like that probably took like an hour and a half to do, just to make his arm move.
Allows me to special summon 1 exceed monster from my graveyard. I'll special summon Durandal, and it allows me to also attach this scrap card to him as 1 monster material.
That's fine. I activate psychic.
The beautiful thing is we don't have to use flat images anymore to make a lot of this stuff, so I'm really happy to see like how far it's come.
The set card you destroyed was Valkatek, and when he's destroyed, he allows me to destroy 2 other set cards I control.
When we take a little break, I'll do the 5-minute preview for Neo Duel. And you guys will really be able to see the difference in duels and stuff.
You ruined
It
3 of
just
my
looks so
monster
much better.
zones.
Does that mean that your item was corrupted when you first got it?
No fucking way! This thing protected me.
I will say
This thing
that
don't
all the
save
music
people.
for this, if I remember right, just was so on
You know,
point because we
between
were
you and
using
me,
the actual shop
I think we
music
can
from
take
the
on these
GX
people
game
back.
in the shop.
I
And
can
like
say
when you were
we're
walking
all-
around,
well,
we used the
you
walking around
should've
music and shit.
told
So
her something, you know, for those innocent people you heard with your evil black magic wizardry.
Jeez. Fuck. You put it like that. Yeah, yes, I'm in.
he just really wanted to say the F word as many times as he could, I think.
What are you waiting for? Here, take your deck. Hey.
There was no reason for Franz to put him in a rush. He's just angsty. That's it. He just.
I activate Soul Charge. I pay 1,000 life points. Special summon a monster from the graveyard.
I didn't like how he makes each little card
With my
glow.
Greymon,
I don't think I did that specifically in Neo Duel. It's too fuzzy.
Summon yet again.
I did a different effect for him, but
Thought Ruler Archfiend.
We had enough time to go to your house, get our dual discs, go to the salon, give yourself a little haircut there.
he literally did too. You see, he's got like a nice little haircut. It's just we filmed a different day, and Monty came back with a haircut, so we're like, you know what? It's part of the story now.
Yeah, whatever.
It also just added to his arrogance, like of Franz just being kind of like a little arrogant.
When I met Atlas, his Millennium item could find people, and I'm guessing I had my Millennium item ever since I followed this little orb down at Canal.
Yeah, Soul Charge on one monster.
we can do
Oof.
something with
I
that.
remember when Soul Charge was good,
What am I
and now Monster Reborn is free. So this was back in Arc 5, so I think Soul Charge was the only legal way to play Monster Reborn.
You were unlawful,
Man,
you know, therefore being
not
evil.
good times, huh,
So
kids?
maybe now that's pure,
Jeez.
you can
I'm
detect
so
good
glad
and evil
Monster
with,
Reborn's
you know,
back.
other
It's
people's
been
items.
power corrupt like a
Well,
mother,
gotta move on.
but
It's getting
still.
dark.
I'll set one
Yeah,
card
psychic
face
decks
down
are,
and end my
if you
turn.
play them right, you're really good at recouping costs. You can see this guy though, he's just kind of like literally a psychic psycho, so he'll do whatever he wants and can and doesn't really care about health, if that makes sense.
Effect shall activate, giving me 1,200 life
He gets a little bit back and then uses it. He basically just uses it as cost to hurt people. So it's kind of crazy.
I can summon 2 monsters from my hand.
One thing I think we should have done is have him duel 2 people at once with each of the duel discs.
And then I'll also special summon
So, but I think I just want to be like, he stole someone's duel disc and turned it into a knife to cut him up.
I hope you've had your fun, because this is the last turn. I'll exceed summon with my 2 level
Yeah, and I
4
think we're
monsters.
supposed to use these other level 4s eventually, or at least hint at like a different strategy in his deck. Like the Royal Magical Library and stuff.
Dude, are you alright? Where you going? What? Really?
This was crazy because it actually got so windy we couldn't film anymore. So I think he just, we were just like, alright, it's time for him to like get gunning.
Negating his own attack by detaching 1 material. Whenever I negate Utopia's attack with its own effect, I'll activate my quick play spell card, Lightwing Shield.
How is this relevant right now? Duel Links just did this event for all the double or nothing stuff.
Utopia, end this duel.
For the Utopia doubles. Oh no. That's why I say if you pick a main monster or a main character's deck that you like Red Eyes, Dark Magician, Utopia, you know, anything from the main characters, you'll probably always get support. I made this 10 years ago and Utopia cards were just popping off in Duel Links. I'm playing it right now in Duel Links. You know what I'm saying? He just cut his eyeball out.
That sure as hell was a lot of work. At least I got the Millennium Eye, though. It was way better off in my hands than his. I don't even think it was corrupted. He was probably just some psychopath.
So that was all of episode 2. Quite long.
I could have sworn it was leading me here.
Well, are
How much
you
have I kept up with
positive
Modern?
it's here?
So I've kept up with modern Yu-Gi-Oh! At least, honestly, up to the point of YCS 2024, because I got an entry ticket to go. I entered the Master Duel and the Duel Links segments, and I'm currently playing the YCS qualifiers on Duel Links. So, like, how up to date am I? Probably need to be a little more up to date on Master Duel, even though I do currently play. I'm playing like the Max Metamorph stuff currently. I just need to update a bit more to be like have a competitively viable deck for what's out there right now. But you know, I'm up to date enough on the game, but not like crazy, like where I'm playing super competitively. Last time I was playing relatively like that was Format of Fire. I was going in with a really spicy Salamangreat deck, so that was my last like up-to-date one. Honestly, I really like the Salamangreats. I have since day one. Not gonna change my mind. So he has like the Millennium Rod, and it's tiny, and he's using it to like control his mind. Because even though this dude has Millennium Scales, he's like, he doesn't know how to use them. Like they're not working against him anymore, but they're not helping him either. Franz's artifact is like possessed to a degree, was the idea that his was giving him an additional kind of like push against other Millennium items. He has a Millennium Ring. So for this guy's voice, all we did was put him in a cup and make him talk like Bane or Sean Connery. Like, Fusion Summon! Yeah, it was so fucking stupid. I had someone think his name was Josh because he says my name is Docs, but with the accent, he's like, my name is Docs and I was spiritual. Like, I was born in the darkness and molded by it. You know, he's supposed to be that, but stupid.
Now that the stage is set, it's your move.
It's my turn. Since I control no monsters on the field, I will special summon Cyber Dragon from my hand.
The Cyber Dragon effects got so cool right here, though. I think the nighttime being in the backdrop made the monsters pop out a lot better. And little hint that if you're ever going to make a Yu-Gi-Oh show, use a parking lot, because if you look at it, it helps distance the characters, which helps you put cards in the right place, helps you... It's kind of like, it's got stripes on the ground, so it helps you keep stuff in place. Yeah. You can see kind of like the monsters popping up only between certain parking spaces. And he was supposed to be like a dual tainer before dual tainers were a thing. But you can see he's using like tribute summon monsters and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Then we gave everybody like their custom life point counter. I decided against that for Neo Duel. Like they just get a slight custom color because there's so many of them to do that much. There's a lot of monster effects in that one that are like a lot. So. Yeah, that was one of my favorite ones, the Call of the Haunted. He's just going off on him.
However, I do not need pulverization to fuse again.
What? A fusion summon done without pulverization? That's impossible!
I fusion summon with my 3 monsters. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon!
Used to be one of my favorite Cyber Dragon cards back in the day. Actually, now I think about it.
Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon! Attack the Cosmo Queen! If your move ends my turn,
I draw. I'll set 1 card face down. I end my turn.
I will no more summon the calculator in attack mode.
I remember this thing used to be a menace. You would just activate like 3 metal reflex slimes or some shit and summon a calculator next to him. They have like level 10. He gets 3,000 from each, so you summon a monster with 9,000 attack and just beat someone down with it. Good sword and shield tactic though, because you'd have 3,000 defense monsters, because I think they got 3k defense. That was a practical effect, and it was super tricky too, because he had to like change his whole haircut within that fraction of a second. That way he switched him over.
Pendulum monsters, appear.
The joke is that like every time an anime character or Yu-Gi-Oh characters like power up, their hair goes crazy. So like it'd be like this normally, and then it's all of a sudden like like fucking up and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so like he opens the pendulum gate because Franz is close to him, and so his Millennium item is accessing the pendulum gate that that Tom is next to him. So that's why he has also Abyss actors. It's like Fiend comics and actors and things. So like he's the actor character. The idea was that he was eventually supposed to get all the summoning mechanics to himself, because Atlas isn't the main hero of the story. It's actually supposed to be this dude.
Ghost Trick Spectre, attack him directly. Looks like it's curtains for you, pal.
We should have did like an explosion there or something. Very underwhelming. It's the only part I'm a little disappointed in for me. After this episode, guys, we'll take a little break. So the reason it's only his armor is, I guess, we were trying to hint at, like, he got erased from the timeline, but wasn't great. So we're gonna pause here, okay, and we're gonna take a little fiber and give you guys a minute to take a break, go to the bathroom, and come back. But also, you can check out the Neo Duel promos.
And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
I've created a new dual disc that will completely change how we play the game. Go, Neo Summon.
Murloc, magical swordsman, in attack mode. Then I'll set one card face down. Now go, Murloc the magical swordsman. Attack and destroy his commander. You'll pay for that. You destroyed my space patrol commander, but he'll be back. My draw. I'll activate Monster Reborn in my spell and trap zone. This will let me special summon back my Space Patrol Commander. When you activate Monster Reborn, I'll activate my face down card, called by the Grave. This will banish your monster and prevent you from being able to revive it. What? Called by the Grave? I guess I'll just set one monster face down and end my turn. My turn. I'll summon Scourge the Dark Witch. Attack. Now with the power of both my monsters, I'll be able to take out some of your life points. Scourge the Dark Witch. Attack him. Ha!
Activate face down
my
card.
face down monster. Its effect activates. Go, Man-Eater Bug. Slice him up. Oh no. A Man-Eater Bug. You may have destroyed my magical swordsman, but that's not going to make me give up. Finally, I'll set one card face down and end my turn. Finally, you weakling, it's my draw. I activate the Autonomous Action Unit.
Activate
Let me pay
spell.
1,500 life.
Welcome back, everybody. We're gonna get right back into this show here. We're on episode 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Paradox, or halfway through the movie, if you want to call it that. It's called a movie only because it's really a super cut, but I mean, we took all the intros and outros out. I don't know. Anyway, let's get right back into it. So these are the two guys that keep robbing Thomas's store over and over. And because Franz made him leave earlier without getting to lock his door, he was just like rushing him out the door. He didn't lock it, so they didn't even have to break in. And I guess within the span of a few seconds, I don't know if we were meant to do like a cut in to where it looked like it took a few minutes, but probably should have. They just kind of went in and took the backpacks. That was a sign from you see like the Viking shield. So I made a cart and went to the medieval fair with this giant sword cart once, where I was a vendor, and I would walk around with a giant armory on me, and that was one of the signs from that thing. It's called Nordic Arms, and that's the name of his store. You can actually see the cart inside the store when you go in sometimes.
Fuck, I've been robbed.
Yep.
I know exactly who did this.
I love the like little bumpy music that's for this, like bump 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 bump. It's so stupid, but it's all from the games too. It's like the nighttime music, I think. We had to like go in and make it look trashed. Put like trash furniture in there and took stuff over. This motherfucker said the new Deluxe XLs. What is even that? He was just improvising and doing a good job.
Hey, asshole! You robbed my store?
What do you want? Yeah, what? You want to take us on?
I'm gonna take your gold bar.
Come on, nerd. Let's see what you
So to play this bad guy, I had to go get like temporary like Halloween hairspray to change my hair color so I'd look like a whole different guy, hopefully. Even though we knew he didn't, we just like, you know, narratively at least.
So you must be the lieutenant, huh?
This is what he was talking about earlier, the property damage, I think, smashing his head into the wall. So that's also why he was in like the body armor. We knew we had to get rough with him a little bit, but we didn't have like a choreographed scene, which you definitely should have choreographed scenes if you're doing violence, but we didn't for any of this stuff. It's all like sporadic and bad. So we decided to make it look like, how does Atlas get a new dual disc after his other one got destroyed? So the lieutenant just comes back to time looking for his boss or whatever, but his boss was just beat by Monty or Steven or Franz or whatever. So Franz, after beating him, went to the shop, so they went looking for him at the shop. So
Then I'm gonna normal summon a harpy lady. This allows me to destroy a set spell and trap on your side of the field.
I remember us specifically not wanting to use the normal Harpy ladies and wanting to use the Japanese ones because they were more spicy. So stupid. Everything had to be adult themed for this show. I think we tried this thing out too, the effect summary, instead of having like someone say it. But I think ultimately the narrative, the voiceover was good. I just think I decided against it. It was too distracting from the actual duel and action, so we just decided to stop doing it. And these guys weren't like rare hunters. They were just supposed to be two like thugs or bum like types, like, you know. This was the whole tag in rules thing. See, so he was outnumbered, so it allows him to like jump into a technically what was a tri-duel or a 2v1 and turn into a tag team. Also, everyone does tag teams really differently. So I've seen some people share the fields like tag force, and most of the shows it's not really possible, so you have to have your own dual disc. But then that it expands your field by like double the size, so like, you know what I mean. It's tricky to do tag team stuff and make it seem fair. He just is like, nope, I'm out, I'm done. Drop the cards, the dual disc. And somehow, this man just stepped completely around every single card that fell on the ground and didn't step on a single one. And made that look natural. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but he did good. Yeah. He pays a life point penalty, tags in, drops his swords on him. This was kind of a cool effect I did too with swords, like having it just stay there. And then what's so funny is see this alley behind us or whatever. So because me and these two guys were just standing facing a random alley to nobody, because we also played the bad guys, and you can see it's a fucking scorcher outside. I was in that trench coat, so we got pulled over because we looked super suspicious with these things on our arms. The cops didn't know what Yu-Gi-Oh was, so we got interrupted during filming the scene. So if it seemed awkward, or like my hair got tied up later, I think that's what happened. Like, I tied my hair back because we got pulled over and talked to by the cops, and then when we went back to filming, I forgot to put it back down or something. So stupid.
Icarus attack, I'm going to activate Durandal's special ability. This allows him to make you destroy one of my set cards. The set card you destroyed was Dark Cop.
I should have did like a back and forth reactions, kind of. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something like that.
If you don't have a card in your hand, I'll destroy that Harpies lady.
So now he's passing the gate over to Thomas, and he's going to go from fire monsters to light monsters. So he's made like a full transition. It's going to go into like knights and stuff. It's supposed to be all noble knights. Xyz's gate. Something we eventually started doing was when you make cards get popped out, they always have like this cutoff. So I started eventually going in and just making up parts that would exist if their card full art image wasn't online, so that'd just be like shaded.
That's a wrap. So you can exist something now. Yep. You're not so special now, are you?
He couldn't get the whole dual disc back in the thing. It jammed up on him. I just noticed that. Oh, that's funny. See, look, like my hair's tied up now because we got stopped by the cops. Like the real police, not in-world universe police. The real police stopped us because we looked suspicious with all these bags and the dual disc, and like we were just all facing the same direction, holding up our arms, yelling at nothing. And I'm in this fucking trench coat in 90-degree weather, so they were like, "What is going on over here?" So we had to explain to them we were being nerds and making a big Yu-Gi-Oh thing. Yeah, this whole place is fucking wrecked now. And Atlas, like in the previous scene, I was talking over it, but he tells Tommy, he's like, "Yeah, somebody else put a hole in your wall in there." After he shoved that dude's head into the wall and smashed it in. Yeah, see, this thing is the cart we were talking about before. It's just covered in stuff right now because it's supposed to look trash, but like. The dude's helmet is just sitting up there too. I think that's the helmet Monty was wearing when we smashed his head in the wall.
In fact, now that I think about it, you should have won him when they light him off the general.
That I did. Limrod. Yeah, still got my scales.
Yeah, my puzzle along with this little eyeball here. I guess best thing to do is.
I wish we would have did this scene a little differently. I think we rushed it, but like, we should have gotten better camera quality to get more up close shots of these things. And I don't like how I did the paste on for the words. I should have made them scroll or something. Like, I don't know. I feel like I could have done individual shots for this, but
I think we're only missing 2.
I think we're on very limited time. That was one of the days when we had to do a ton of shots in one day, unfortunately. And you don't get to do reshoots for stuff like this either, unfortunately.
Good, fellas. I appreciate your hard work.
Oh, this is why, because we had to go in and do the scene setup so many times. So it was like tearing it down, setting it up, changing costumes. Yeah. We had to like make it look like we went in and repaired the whole shop and everything, and put little tapes on the wall to repair the little. Like, just so ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a general for the future fusion army.
Future fusion?
Yeah, they're army in the future.
What's the giant A? So the giant A is from Arkland. It's a game I made, and so we used to go and it's kind of like a LARP. And so, like, the country that our characters were from were Outlanders, but the whole area for the game is called Arkland. But it's been turned into a card game. It's called Arcturnal, and that will be out eventually. Different project. I think we should have done this through, like, flashes if we could have, but I don't think there was a way. But this was just a big narrative way of saying, these are all the timelines that possibly exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because there are so many questions about when does this take place, I think, by this point. So, like, you could see this is the era we're in for the show's standard era, and this is fusion era. So I'm just going to skip forward just a smidgen on this so you guys don't have to listen to all of it, but you can see we go straight into links, so we didn't even know what links were. By this episode had been announced, I knew links were coming, but I didn't know, because this was a few months later, you know what I'm saying, since episode 1. But yeah, so we didn't know what was going on with it yet. Oh, are we buffering? Is that real?
What? Puzzle?
Oh, dropping balls
get it.
somewhere. Let me fix that real quick. We don't got to do all that. What's going on? We're gonna go up 720 and see if it fixes it. It should, but not. If I do that, that might screw up my... Let's see. Sorry, I was trying to get it fixed here real quick. We're getting error messages.
The ability to access those gates and stuff. Kind of like my Millennium Ring necklace thing.
Oh, am I...
I'm gonna pause it and see if it'll fix itself here real quick.
Corresponds to which item?
Well, from what we know, the Millennium Scales gives the ability to pendulum summon. The puzzle, given the ability to see summon. The eye gives the ability to synchro summon, I'm assuming. I was dueling this other dude earlier and he was synchro.
Alright, it looks like it's clearing up a little bit, but I digress. I just wanted to make sure that we could get through the movie here at least.
So that fusion summoning. And your ring, to be honest, we really don't know.
So the idea was that he has the puzzle, he has the ring, and he has the scales. So this gave him the ability to pendulum summon with the scales. Then the puzzle is like time and space locked away. So it's X, Y, Z's, and then his is got all the 5. So we're getting a little buffering, so I'm gonna pause this for just a second. Not a big fan of the buffering. If you are watching this live and it's buffering a lot, just rewind yourself by like a minute, and it should stop doing that for you at least, but not for me.
Then I'll activate Call of the Haunted to special summon ZW Ultimate Shield to the field. Then, with the level 4 monsters, I'll XC summon for number 39, Utopia. Utopia, attack!
Finally, activate my trap card. Suck it, you arm!
So I actually gave the dual disc he's wearing to a friend in Seattle while I was up there, which is pretty cool.
Special summon Utopia back in the field. Now Utopia, let's end this duel.
They probably don't even know it was used for filming this show. I think we got him in like more red, so we like color coded everyone a little different now.
That was awesome.
So Thomas isn't using the red like fiery cards, so we put him in blue. With black and red were all kind of like a nice way to say these are the primary characters or whatever.
Thanks, Atlas. I'll keep that in mind. Hey, still looks like
And he's like proudly wearing the Millennium Ring on the outside.
Because you're next. Seriously, guys, you gotta be joining the fight. I gotta know you can handle yourselves.
Oh, please. I knocked Docs out of the game.
You're letting that one go to your head.
Hey, all I'm saying is...
To make my spell card double summon. This will allow me to summon again. I normal summon ZW Ultimate Shield to the field. Now with 2 level 4 monsters, I XC summon number 39, Utopia.
Ha! I knew it. And Utopia only has 2,500 attack. I'll still have 1,500 life points left. Utopia would be no match for my combo.
Now Utopia, attack! I'll use Utopia's effect. Let's training. Come on, you wimps. You think your opponents are gonna let you rest?
Look, all we're asking for is just a drop of water.
No can do. We may be captured, and then we'll have to duel under the most extreme circumstances.
Alright, now on your feet.
Jesus.
We were like, how can we fit another like extra dumb scene into this show for length? I think this is what we came up with. It's like, fuck it, we're just working out now, I guess.
Alright, I think you guys have done pretty good these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, pretty tough, but I think we got this.
With our dex modified and our skills done, we get to beat our enemies.
Yeah.
There is one pickup though.
What's that?
How we find these guys, only items.
Well, your puzzle led you to, first guy, right?
Actually, it'll only lead you to the Mobius system. Other than that, it's kind of just going off on its own. Also, Mike shows where he is.
Then let me do it.
And only I can do it. Because I wanted to do it. Alright, look, just don't fuck up my face, okay?
I'll try my best, man. Just Tom, hold the guy.
We made it a bit further in this stream before Buffalo last one though. Then he just cuts the dude's eyeball out with his own dagger so that he can put in the Millennium Eye. Because a lot of people forget you actually have to like be missing an eye to use the Millennium Eye fully or whatever.
Oh, jeez. Damn it, it's not this one either.
The fucked up thing was, I remember like a nice setting, like a nice clean, not junk city setting, I think. He has a fushigi in his hand, so it looks like a crystal ball, but it's just a fushigi. This is just real nice, and whoever, I don't remember who was doing the follow me for the camera on this one. Yeah, that's some of it. At least a little bit. I tried doing this late night to avoid that problem, but there's other problems filming late night as well, so not gonna avoid every little thing. Not gonna happen. This was such a good shot though, so clean looking. Alright guys, I'm going to take a little fiver to see if I can clear up some of these stream settings before we get into the end of the show here, okay? So let's just play that 5-minute timer real quick and I'll be right back to it. Now I'll tell you what, I'll do a fun. I'll give you guys a promo for the late night timers, okay? It's not late night, but I'll show you what we're up to. So I'll leave you with the meme timer. Yeah, it's still streaming.
Kinda
It's
like a
just
light
streaming at a
buffer.
super slow. Like I always track it here,
Okay, good. You're watching it, yeah.
but it's just for some reason having not the time of its life trying to get up. But I just don't want it doing this thing like cuts and then skips. If it's not skipping, I don't
Jump,
mind.
as long as it plays throughout.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to I don't mind interacting with the audience and stuff, but if we're going to come back and we're going to start maybe 5 minutes before this in our next stream where we do watch live stuff together, and for the rest of that stream we will we'll probably watch other people's stuff if they're cool with it. So I'm going to go ahead and end this one here, as much as I appreciate you guys showing up, but I want you to have a good viewing experience. So if I can't bring that to you because of stream settings or whatever, then we're going to go ahead and call it. But I definitely want to come back and we will rewatch the end of this together, probably on another day at 10 a.m. Or maybe even late night tonight if you guys want to join me for the late night stuff. But until then, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate your time, and of course don't forget to like the video if you want more Yu-Gi-Oh content. You always know I'm up to some Yu-Gi-Oh nonsense, so I will definitely see you guys next time.
And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.